Angela and Tom had moved to rural Vermont to escape the chaos of Boston. Their daughter, Emily, was 4 years old, bright-eyed, curious, and endlessly energetic. They wanted a quieter life, a place where Emily could run free, breathe clean air, and grow up surrounded by nature. Their new home was a weathered farmhouse on the edge of a dense stretch of woods. Locals called it the Hollow Pines. When Angela asked why, the cashier at the general store just muttered, "Kids shouldn't play out there." She didn't elaborate. Angela laughed it off at the time. For the first few weeks, life was peaceful. Emily loved the backyard and spent hours chasing butterflies and picking wildflowers. But slowly, her attention shifted. One afternoon, Tom noticed Emily standing at the tree line, whispering. He assumed she was playing pretend, but then she started spending more and more time there, always talking in a low voice, always facing the same patch of dark pines. "Who are you talking to, sweetie?" Angela asked one evening. Emily smiled. "My friend." Angela exchanged a look with Tom, both amused and uneasy. "And what's your friend's name?" Emily tilted her head. "She doesn't have one." That night, Angela dreamed of the woods. In the dream, she heard children's laughter echoing, but when she followed the sound, she only found hollowed-out tree trunks, yawning black, as if something had carved tunnels into them. She woke with her heart pounding. The next morning, Emily was different. She sat at the table, pale and silent, barely touching her cereal. When Angela asked if she felt sick, Emily just shrugged. That afternoon, she disappeared. Panic ripped through the farmhouse as Angela and Tom screamed her name, combed the property, and finally ran into the woods. They searched for hours, stumbling through mud and brambles, calling until their throats were raw. Just as the sun began to sink, they found her, standing barefoot in a clearing, staring up at the trees. "Emily," Angela cried, pulling her close. Emily didn't resist, but her body was ice cold, and her eyes seemed wrong, too dark, too distant. "Sweetie, what were you doing out here?" Tom asked. "I was listening," Emily whispered. "To what?" Angela demanded. She looked up at them with a flat, almost bored expression. The children in the trees. That night, Emily didn't sleep. Angela heard her pacing in her room, humming softly to herself. The tune was strange, off-key, and unsettling. When Angela opened the door, Emily stopped mid-step and stared at her, expressionless. "Go back to bed, Mommy," Emily said calmly. "You're too loud. They don't like it." Angela felt a chill crawl down her spine. Over the next few days, Emily's behavior worsened. She barely spoke, and when she did, her voice sounded deeper. Her laugh, once bubbly, now carried a strange echo. And her drawings, once flowers and sunshine, were now black trees with hollow faces carved into their trunks. One evening, Tom insisted they see a doctor. As he gathered Emily's things, she watched him carefully and said, "You can't take me away. They'll be angry." "Who will?" Tom snapped. Emily smiled, and for a moment, Angela swore her daughter's teeth looked sharper. That night, Angela awoke to a faint scratching sound. She followed it to Emily's room and froze. Emily was standing on the bed, her tiny hands pressed against the window pane, her nails dragging lines across the glass. She was whispering, voice too low to make out. "Emily?" Angela croaked. Her daughter turned slowly, her eyes empty, her face void of expression. "They want me to stay with them," she said flatly. "They said I'm hollow now, like them." Angela's stomach dropped. "You're not hollow, sweetheart. You're ours. You're Emily." Emily tilted her head, and in a voice that wasn't hers, said, "Emily's gone." The next morning, she was missing again. The police searched for days, combing the woods, dragging the river, canvassing every road in a 10-mile radius. They found no trace. Weeks later, Angela sat on the porch, numb, staring at the tree line. She thought she saw movement, a small figure standing just beyond the shadows. Her heart leapt. She ran, screaming Emily's name. When she reached the edge of the woods, she saw her daughter, pale, barefoot, hair tangled with leaves. Angela sobbed with relief, until Emily lifted her face. Her eyes were hollow, black, empty. She smiled wide, too wide, and behind her, in the dark gaps of the pines, dozens of small faces peered out, all wearing the same hollow stare. Angela stumbled back. Emily took one step forward, and in that strange, layered voice said, "Mommy, come play in the hollow."